Welcome to the Off 199 podcast. We are your co-hosts, Jay,
Music Nerd,
and Dap.
We're just a few Miami boys who love talking about South Florida sports and want to bring it to you. So, without further ado,
Off 199 starts now.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Off 199th. I am back with some of my normal co-hosts. First, I'll introduce Nick. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right, and y'all?
Good. AJack?
Yo.
Jay?
Yo, what's good, man? What's good?
So we're going to have another special episode today. We're going to be talking about, going further along on our little GOAT series that we got going on. We're going to be talking about the best NFL players, like we said in our last time. But first off, we want to congratulate Andre Johnson and Devin Hester for making the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Hurricane alums and stuff like that. So we are just so proud of that. Adding a couple more Hurricanes to the Hall. Hopefully, we'll get a few more in the next couple of years as well.
For a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be on the run for a minute.
So we hope for that. But then also want to congratulate Tua Tagovailoa. And I want to talk a little bit about that, his contract extension and Tyreek Hill's contract extension, and Tyreek Hill getting the number one player in the top 100. So what is your reaction to that? Let's go to the non-Dolphin fan. And Nick, what's your reaction to Tua Tagovailoa's contract, Tyreek's contract, and Tyreek being number one on the NFL? Whichever one you want to answer first.
I don't know. The Tyreek deserves to get paid. Tua, the market is what the market is. That's what he said, so I can't be too mad at it. What are the exact numbers again for Tua's contract?
5 years, $212 million. Was it 100?
167 guaranteed.
167 guaranteed.
Like I said, the market is what the market is. It's hard to find a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback. Do I think that number's a bit much? Personally, yes, I do. But the market is what the market is. The contracts are just going to get bigger. So, I mean, I guess buy low or for whatever you want to call it. You got to get it in when you get it in. You know what I mean? As far as Tyreek, I mean, he's obviously the best receiver in the NFL right now. Him being ranked number one player overall, it's a bit surprising. I think top five, but, it's usually a quarterback that's ranked number one. So that's why I say that's most surprising that he's ranked number one. But,
first receiver to ever get that ranking.
At the end of the day, I mean, he's a game changer. You guys would not be the same team without him. So I can't say that. But, I mean, all honors and all rights deserved. Nothing that they got was not deserved. They earned everything they had. So I'm not going to knock them too much.
Hey, Jack, what's your reaction?
I mean, like we talked about it on the group chat. I was just like, if you're mad about paying Tua this much money, you should have paid him last year because it's only going to go, especially for quarterbacks, it's only going to go up. Like I don't know if it's going to go down. Like it's quarterback in the NFL. Like the price isn't going to go down. So if they had an issue with paying him, they should have paid him last year. With Tyreek, simple. It's just a simple move by him. He wanted more guaranteed years on his contract. I never blame any player for wanting more guaranteed years and more guaranteed money. So there's that. I mean, the number one thing, look, when you gotta go we basically gotta double a guy every single play. I get it. I think people have an issue with Patrick Mahomes being number 4. Like the reality is, Patrick Mahomes didn't have the best season last year.
That wasn't his fault.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like that's just reality. Is he didn't have the best season last year. I think Lamar had a better season than him last year. Obviously, he won it all. So kudos to him. But we can get into
they had no business winning that game.
I can get to nitty gritty of it all. But that especially like that Ravens playoff game, they didn't really do a lot in the second half. but who gets credit for that dub? Mahomes. But the reality is, that defense really won them that game, Yeah. So it's like, I be hearing the Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, yeah, cool, got it. But Mahomes ain't just Mahomes. It's Mahomes and it's Andy Reid and it's what's the name of the defense coordinator for the Chiefs? He be cooking.
Spagnuolo. Spagnuolo has done an outstanding job with this Chiefs defense over the last 5 years.
Oh yeah, Chris Jones. Hey, Chris Jones is ranked high too, and Chris Jones well deserved. So it don't like I be hearing but he won a Super Bowl, he beat this guy, he beat that guy, and I hear it, but at the same time, it's just like it's not just Patrick Mahomes doing this. Like even the Super Bowl, Chris Jones blew that play up to end the 49ers overtime drive. Like that was Chris Jones. That wasn't Pat. Like obviously Pat Mahomes threw the game in the past or whatever like that. Who really ended that game for the 49ers was Chris Jones. He blew that play up. So it's just like it's not just Pat Mahomes winning these championships. So I don't mind Tyreek being number one because the way other defensive players talk about him, if he's not number one player, he's probably the number one most feared. I'm not for sure. Yeah. So
that's fair.
So it's just like,
All right, Jay.
I'm happy for Tua. Only thing that gives me pause is like, all right, I like when a person comes out they show and have personality now and stuff like that, and they come into themselves. He has confidence, stuff like that. It's just like I just don't want it. I don't want.
You don't want the money to change him? Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't want him to get to the point where it's like, I want him to still be humble to like good guy, good leader to and not this bravado and all this stuff like that. And like then you have to, if you're gonna talk your ish or whatever like that, you gotta back it up type of things, and you open yourself up to that. So if that's gonna be you, cool. Just make sure you back it up.
Those games away. You know those games in Hawaii?
Yeah, right. So we'll see how to adjust to the money and stuff like that. And I mean, all is good in camp so far. Doesn't look like it's affecting him too much. He's still balling out, so we'll see how season goes.
I feel that about Tua. I feel it, but I do think his timidness and his shyness kind of hurt him before as a football player. Like when he wasn't at his most confident, that's when he was called the worst quarterback in the league. So and then when he got that confidence,
which is crazy because even before McDaniel, he was not the worst quarterback in the league.
He was winning games.
I know that. I mean, us Dolphins fans know that type of stuff. At the end of the day, because we were still winning games back then, and Tua was making stuff work with Isaiah Ford as his number 2 receiver. But
Jesus Christ.
It's obvious that like him being more confident has made him a better quarterback. Obviously, you don't want him to go overboard, but at the end of the day, bro, when you get $150 million guaranteed, I think it's like $60 million. Ryan's his bank account still 2 signs. It's gonna change you a little bit, bro. That's just the reality of stuff, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, that's crazy money. So it's like
generation changing money, not just life changing. Yeah.
I hope it doesn't change it for the worse, but at the same time, I do hope he gets like, a little bit of a bump, because it's like having confidence is good for a quarterback because like especially with the offense that we run in Miami, you need to have confidence. If you don't have confidence, then you're cooked. Like that's cooked. That's cooked.
That's a good point. In this offense, if you second guess yourself, things start happening. Like you start throwing interceptions, and you kind of saw that during the second half of the season.
Yeah, that's what happened last year. So
he started second guessing decisions. He was hesitating with things that have to be very crisp, very direct decisions, and that's how interceptions happen. So, I mean, for me, I agree with Louis Riddick when it comes to his assessment of Tua Tagovailoa. I think this team has been built around him. I think this team has been built to really go to his strengths, and I think that it made no sense for Miami to delay paying him, in my opinion. And also, that made no sense to me. I think what Miami's done this offseason with Waddle, Tua, and Tyreek re-upping that threesome there.
That's what was my next question. Was like, how does this affect the overall team? So they've got those 3 locked up for the next.
They got the 3 locked up for at least the next. At least the next 4 years.
Okay.
Those 3 are locked up.
I heard some different things about the salary cap and stuff like that because Tyreek's deal it frees up salary cap for this year, but they're like $33 million in the negative in the cap for next year. So
we talked about it before. This team is expensive. So this time is kind of now. Their window is kind of the next 2 years.
So I don't know how we're gonna do that.
Yeah, this window is kind of next 2 years. You got to rely on rookies kind of playing out of their minds a little bit too. You have to rely a little bit more on your system, I think. But overall, I do think it's the right move. I think I thought they should have extended Tua last year. Like
Yeah,
Austin,
could
me
have
and
gotten
Austin
for
talked about it.
cheaper.
Yes, and because I think you saw what he meant to this team because when he wasn't there, Miami was a 500 sub 500 team. When he was there, Miami was the number one seed in the AFC for a good amount of time. And
Yeah.
so, I think the injuries give you pause and stuff like that, but I think like this team was built to have his strengths. So it's like it doesn't make any sense for you not to pay the quarterback, and then locking up everything else when it comes to it. Now, like when it comes down to it, I think the most telling reaction is his teammates' reactions. His teammates are happy for him. They wanted this to get done. I think that's
Yeah.
most telling about it. I think when it comes to the leadership part, I think he's stepped up. I think he's become a leader for this team. He may not be the most vocal one. I don't think that's his style. And I am like Gene. I do want him to keep a little bit of his stuff, but I see where Austin's coming from too. We need confidence. He needs to be that confident. I'm gonna make every throw in the book type to it. That's how it's gonna lead to success for this team. So overall, I think it is the best move. All three moves, and I do think. I mean, I never have any mini gripes about the NFL player list because it's made by the players. There's no other media like interference with that. It's the players who pick it. So I think if you go against that, it's kind of like, okay, you're how you gonna go against people who are going up against these guys every Sunday? So
Yeah, sure.
So I was surprised that this was the first wide receiver, but then I thought about it, I was like, actually, it kind of makes sense that this being the first wide receiver to ever be number one. I think he deserved it. Like Austin said, he's feared. Like they're talking about certain concepts they would run, and he would just outrun them. I mean, he makes the Dolphins a different team, and so I'm just really like it's a very proud moment. Good for it. Anything else to add on that subject, gentlemen, before we move on to the main part of the episode? No, we're good. All right. So we're going to talk about the greatest NFL players in our opinions, and we're going to go by positions. So we're going to start off by the position we were just talking about, quarterback. So because there is more to the GOAT conversation than just quarterbacks. So I said, let's look. First off, fuck Tom Brady. That's how I feel when it comes to that conversation.
I always feel like that.
I'm always going to
No
feel
one
like
here
that.
like Tom Brady.
So yeah, let's put that in this conversation. But let's start off with you, Nick, being as you're a non-Dolphin fan. Who is your favorite quarterback of all time? And if you have a top five, let's give us that.
My top 5 quarterbacks all time.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Manning, because I'm a Colts fan. It's a homer pick. I don't care. He should have always retired a Colt. Never should have been a Bronco. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I do appreciate having Andrew Luck for the time we had him, but I love Peyton Manning. I think the way that he analyzed the game, he essentially was a coach on the field. He called his own plays for a majority of the plays that we ran. He had a great arm, as in he can make all the throws. The ball didn't always look the prettiest, but it was always where it needed to be, and his receivers could catch it. Thought he was a great leader. I thought he was well balanced with being strict and being the guy's guy, if that makes sense. His numbers speak for themselves, as many passing records as he holds, even though him and Tom Brady went back and forth for their touchdown record, which Tom Brady currently holds. Fuck you, Tom Brady. Then Peyton Manning's my number 1. Number 2 would probably have to be, you've got Joe Montana. You've got Tom Brady won't ever be on my top 5. You've got
I love it.
Shit. There's so many quarterbacks. I don't want to miss anybody right now. Also, this part's are not in any order. I want to say Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck would be on mine. He can make every throw. Huge arm. Drew Brees is on mine. So that's got me at 4. Drew Brees is on mine. Big arm, make every throw. Longevity of his career was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll probably say.
So you had Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Drew Brees, and Joe Montana.
Joe Montana, and my 5th will be. No, not Donovan McNabb.
Like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's an underrated quarterback, but he would not top 5. Who am I forgetting? I'll say. Fuck it. I'll say. I want to kind of. Part of me wants to say Roger Staubach.
Really? You want to go back that far? Like Roger the Dodger? Okay.
Yeah, Roger
All right.
Staubach. Kind of.
I can get
He's a
behind that.
mobile quarterback when there weren't really mobile quarterbacks.
Well, yeah, that's part of it. I think that is a much underrated part of his game when it comes to it. Roger the Dodger on that one. So I'll give you that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Roger Staubach. Go back that far.
Okay. All right. Jay, what about you?
Top 5 for me. Number 5, I'll have to go with Michael Vick.
I knew it. I knew you're gonna go.
I warned niggas he was gonna be on somebody's top 5.
I knew he was gonna be on Jay's.
Come on,
I knew he was gonna be on Jay's top 5.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's who I forgot.
I don't want. Peyton Manning's one of my favorite quarterback of all time. I just don't know where to put him on that top 5 list. I'm just gonna put him on. Yeah, I'm just gonna say Peyton Manning, Joe Montana. Here's a controversial Steve Young.
I like Steve Young though.
Yeah,
I like Steve Young.
I thought
I
about
used
Steve
to-
Young.
When I was in Pee Wee and I played quarterback, I
Yeah,
wore
number 8
because of Steve Young. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, he did. He was a quarterback. I think. What's your second year?
Yeah, I think it was my second year.
Mhm.
So I had Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, Steve Young, Michael Vick. Who would be
This-
Who would be the last one? I want to say people that actually seen like play and stuff like that. So I'm going with Dan Marino.
Dan Marino. All right.
I was waiting for somebody to say Dan Marino.
Oh, Dan Marino gonna be in my top 5. You know that. All right. AJack. You're muted. You know that, right?
Yeah, my fault. Me and Dad was talking. Probably 5. I got Vic just like Julian. You know, I worked 7 in Pee Wee's because of Vic. And when I played quarterback, the old man over there, you see, hey. So, 4. Who I want to put 4? 4. I mean, just because I'm from here, I got Dan Marino 4. Got Lamar Jackson 3. Got Pat Mahomes 2. And I got Peyton Manning 1 because I've always thought Peyton Manning was better than Tom Brady. Even when I was growing up or whatever like that, but that's just me. And plus, you know, I had Tom Brady tearing this ACL as my lock screen for like a couple of months back in the day. So like, I'll never like Tom Brady. I'll never like what he stands for. I feel like a win for the Patriots was a win for white supremacy. So like, I stand on that. So like, he'll never be in my GOAT debate. I feel like he's kind of like, you know, kind of like asterisks there or whatever like that. So yeah, that's my 5. It's Mike Vick, Dan Marino, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, and then Peyton Manning 1. Mm-hmm. And then honorable mention 2009 Chad Pennington.
Chad Pennington.
2009.
It's like
Y'all made the playoffs for the first time in forever.
Hey,
the first time I ever seen him.
It wasn't just the first time in forever. It was the fact that the last season before we had gone 1-15. All right.
Yeah, something like
that was rough. That was a rough year. I'll never forget that was my senior year in high school. I remember like they set when they actually got a win, we broke like a Richter scale record in Miami at one point because the stadium was going so hard when we got there.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember.
So
that.
yeah, I think it wasn't just. I don't think it wasn't just that. It was that and plus we beat the Patriots that year. Like we scudded them. That was a fun year. So
2009
it goes from 1 win to 11.
Just 2009, Chad Pennington, guys. 2009. Gotta be specific about it. Oh, your dad saying he was a Jet, so I don't know why I'm saying.
He was, but I hated.
He was.
I know he was a Jet, but I'm talking about 2009. He wasn't Jet in 2009, was he?
Right. So for me, Mike Vick is in my honorable mentions. Pat Mahomes is 5 for me. 4 is Peyton Manning. Oh no, 4 is Drew Brees. My bad. This is his consistency over it. That's really what it is. 3 is Joe Montana. 2 is Peyton Manning, and 1 is Dan Marino because Dan Marino. That's for me my favorite quarterback growing up. We just seeing him just literally just make every throw, even when he was like super old and just trying to carry the Dolphins to do anything and just getting no help, basically, or no run game help, no anything. I mean, the defense was pretty good at his last couple of years, but at that point, it was like it just like wasn't, it was never enough. So it's like, yeah, it broke my heart a few times that first team, but he was like the best quarterback I ever saw. And he's like your favorite quarterback's favorite quarterback. Like you talk to Peyton Manning, you talk to Drew Brees, you talk to a lot of these guys. A lot of them model their games after Dan Marino. So I think he's the one who really brought in the boon for like this new offense. So one thing I think I'll say about Drew Brees that I think like doesn't get brought up enough is like there's only been like 12 5,000-yard seasons in the NFL history, and Drew Brees has 5 of them, which I think is just incredible. That's ridiculous for me. And so, like, one thing too about all these quarterbacks have like these great, incredible, like one season, like where they broke almost every record in the books and everything like that. But one thing too about Peyton Manning has 2 of those seasons, the 2004 season and the 2013, where he just went crazy. So for me, I think the quarterback is something it's incredible. And then of course Patrick Mahomes is just on his way to shattering all those in my opinion. So that's why he's on my list. So one thing I asked, so why did y'all include Mike Vick on your list? And I included my honorable mentions. What do you think is his impact on the quarterback position? So I'll start out with you, Jay, since you brought him up first.
I would say that he made it okay to. It was probably the first time I've seen, I guess, the quarterback you actually see growing up in Little League and stuff like that. Like you see the running quarterback who could also throw and like and for him to have such an arm and have such a fluid throwing motion, breaking tackles downfield, it was just, even though he went to Virginia Tech, I just still. It just felt like it always felt like it was one of us playing quarterback. And I really do feel like, I remember that. Even though I love the Eagles, I remember him playing the NFC championship game. And it felt like it was just him going against the world.
It did feel like that. You're right
Yeah,
about that.
it was like,
That's the team that Josh likes to talk about, the Florida State team that beat him in that championship game. That's the one he likes to talk about.
Who's on that Virginia Tech team?
Nobody. It was Mike Vick. It was Mike Vick versus Florida State that night.
It was Mike Vick.
It was Mike Vick versus Florida State that night.
All right, so like it just brings goosebumps thinking about it. Like yeah, it just brings goosebumps thinking about it.
What about you, AJack? You sentiments or you have something new?
I mean, same thing. Because of video game as well. It's probably some of my vivid memories of like just realizing, because Madden makes you realize certain things that's about like the prejudices when it comes to quarterback. I remember Mike Vick, because Madden had like the QB vision thing.
God, his jump was so small.
So small.
And Peyton Manning took up the entire field.
Peyton Manning took up the entire field, but Mike Vick's like this.
Mike Vick had like the smallest QB vision of like the whole quarterback, bro. And then Peyton Manning vision was like the whole field. It was I was like, yo, why is that? Like, obviously I know now because Peyton Manning, is Peyton Manning, but like, seeing, playing with him in the game, then seeing him, playing with the Falcons or whatever like that. Him and Warwick Dunn was like my favorite duo for like. Because I used to use the Falcons all the time. So, and then like watching him, as Julian said, in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles, like it seemed like he was really playing. It literally looked like he was by himself. Like I just have like I just go back to like the vision of just him just standing in the snow, like with his hand in his like little pouch, just looking all disappointed because he couldn't do nothing. I have like a vivid memory of that. So I don't know, just, and as you said before, like growing up in Miami, like that was a quarterback. Like that's how the quarterback was used back then. It was used like a Mike Vick. He was the runner. He was the passer. Like that's how Little League quarterbacks used back then. So for that version of a quarterback to be in the NFL at that time, it was just like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So man, it is what it is. Like, that's how I felt about it. And then seeing like Lamar now, basically be like basically like Michael Vick ×2, in my opinion. I think Lamar's better than Michael Vick ever was. So seeing Lamar,
I don't know, man.
Nah.
I don't know about that.
Fact, I ain't gonna lie. Because if Michael Vick was a mid passer, we can be honest about that one.
Michael
I
Vick
think Lamar
had a stronger
Jackson's a
arm.
passer. I think Michael Vick has a bigger
but a
arm.
mid passer, he couldn't really read. Hey, I know that.
But
thing.
I think Lamar is more accurate. I'll give you that.
Yeah, he's more accurate. He's a better passer too. Like I've talked to y'all about this before. I feel Lamar Jackson's arm talent is insane. Like I've always felt that.
Yeah,
there are actually good times you look at Lamar
He's
places the
tall.
ball.
Yeah, another thing too, he's taller and bigger too.
Taller and and he places the ball really well. So I give you on that one, Jack.
I do feel like Mike Vick was robbed of his prime years, so I don't think we can really compare.
I mean, hey, he committed the crime, but yeah, I guess.
I'm not to get into that.
That's a whole other podcast. We can't really get.
Hey man, I'm still mad about that to this day.
No.
Oh, I used to get in arguments with people about that. I still do.
Like to your point, I don't think he should have got the time he got, but like
no, he did. He shouldn't have. It was literally an unprecedented sentence. But like I said, we can't get it. We don't have time to get into that.
We ain't gonna get into that. Like, oh nah, they did my dog wrong. Like, nah, he did it. He did it.
I say, man, me and Nick used to talk about this. Like, literally, there was another incident that happened in the league that year where a player killed a man and got less time.
Dante Stallworth. I'll never forget.
Stallworth killed a man and got less time.
Committed manslaughter. Only did a month in prison because he was in solitary confinement and got out.
So,
Mike Vick, 3 years is wild. I ain't gonna. Even back then, I was like, he getting that long for killing some dogs? It
was because he had an illegal dog ring, though, dog fighting ring. Like it was a criminal organization.
I've said this several times to people. Hey, the man's paid his dues, but like I said, that's
my thing. The man paid his dues.
Yeah, that's me too.
I'm putting him on the cross.
He just financed it. He didn't. I don't think he took part in it, right? He just financed.
No, he did.
No, he did it, and he admitted to it.
And he admitted, yeah.
He admitted to it, and he and I respect Mike Vick because he came back. He's like, look, we paid back. He paid back every dime, every defaulted, and everything like that. He paid it all back. Never declared bankruptcy. Paid it all back and everything. And he was the first quarterback to get $200 million contracts in NFL history. So he changed the game in a lot of ways. And one was pre-prison, one was post-prison. So I think that Michael Vick, is going to be a lot more ingrained in football world than he should for both positive and negative ways. And I know a lot of people are going to be upset about that and say they feel like he doesn't deserve it. But like I have told several people who've talked to me about this, you wouldn't know Michael Vick's name if it wasn't for football. So thus, you don't know people don't know the co-conspirator's name, even though we've watched a whole documentary about it. No one else knows it. Actually, people were financing the dogs in there too because they don't play football. Yeah. But like I said, that's a whole nother podcast. But
that's just bro. I feel like he does because he handled it. I feel like he handled it the best way he could. He did his time.
Yeah. That's why I respect. That's why my respect grew for him after it. Yeah, he messed up and everything like that, but he owned it, and I felt he did it the right way, and I feel it was a good example for the rest of us.
He hasn't complained about the sentence. I've never heard him complain about the sentence at all.
Yeah,
never.
No.
So it's like
he did his time. He did it. He paid back the money. He did all that stuff. He's given to Peter. He's done everything he can to give back. I feel in that situation, but some people are always going to see him as that, though, no matter what he does. And the fact of the matter is, he's still going to do it. So I respect the hell out of it. But let's move on from that. Are there any more comments on the quarterback discussion?
I'm taking off Roger Staubach and I'm putting on Aaron Rodgers. I can't believe I forgot him.
I respect it.
Okay. All right. So why do you put on Aaron Rodgers? Because I was wondering if someone's going to put him on the list. So I think he's an interesting person to talk about when it comes to that debate. So why did you put him on the list?
10 Pro Bowls, 4 All-Pro. Man can make any throw. I mean, literally any throw on the football field. It's ridiculous. He's not a runner, but he extends time with his legs, which I appreciate. He's a Hall of Famer, MVP. He's robbed himself. I mean, the only blight on his career, in my opinion, is that he should probably have one more Super Bowl. But the man doesn't play defense. So I mean, what can you tell me? And I mean, this man also, he's probably the only quarterback other than Doug Flutie, if I'm correct, that does Hail Marys. He has some of the most iconic Hail Marys I've ever seen personally.
Yeah, that shit really hard.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
He's won multiple games with Hail Marys, which just hurt my opinion. That's why I'm putting Aaron Rodgers back up in there.
Okay. Any other reactions, gentlemen?
And his longevity.
Well, we'll see. I think we can add on to his legend. We'll see if he's able to save the Jets, but I don't think so. I don't think
so. I don't think he's not.
I said it last year. Jets are going to be the Jets.
So I don't think anything.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, they said they put money into that offensive line. I just don't know what they're going to do there. And then
I'll be honest
40
with you.
years old, bouncing back from an Achilles tear. Like, come on.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think it matters how much money you put into the offensive line until they fix that turf that they play 8 or 9 their games at. So
yeah,
I'm as a Dolphins fan, I don't like that turf because we got to play there. We got to play there at least once a year.
I honestly don't know why the NFL just hasn't put in grass fields. The players have been asking for it for the past 7 years.
Well, let's be real. The NFL does not really listen to its players. It doesn't it takes a lot for them to do that. Like I said, I feel like the NFL does dirty business, and that's a whole nother concept too, and everything. But that's why I just want to talk about the players. I'm never going to have a top 5 owners list as far as I'm concerned. So, but the players, I think they need to talk to them because I think the Achilles tears, the ACL tears on that field alone, you can make a whole podcast about. It's ridiculous. Like you talk about star players losing seasons, Jalen Phillips for one, Sterling Shepard, Aaron Rodgers. The NFL invested a lot of money into the Jets last season. They were on 8? They had 5 primetime games.
A bunch of primetime games.
So thus, if you're doing that, then obviously you need to have your players. You have to have the marketable part of it. So why are you not listening to players when they say we shouldn't listen? We shouldn't be playing on artificial turf. You're taking money out your own hands right there. And if someone actually pointed that out to them, I guarantee you they put grass on that field. But that's my soapbox. I'll step off of it for now. I'm sure that will come back up again. But all right, let's move on to the next position. All right, let's go with running back. So who is your favorite running back ever? And let's give me top 5 running backs. Let's start off with you, Jay.
Barry Sanders.
That's your top?
That's my top one.
Okay.
Walter Payton.
All right.
LT LaDainian Tomlinson.
That's a good one.
Edge
and James. All right.
Edge and James?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And James is on my list.
I guess I saw him. I have to go with Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith? Is that your 5 then?
No,
so you're 5. You're
Barry
Sanders,
Walter Payton, Edge. I'm missing one.
Daniel Tomlinson.
No,
Emmitt Smith.
And Emmitt Smith. Yeah, that's my 5.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll revisit that in a minute. Nick, you're 5.
Barry Sanders, Marshall Faulk. Give me a second. Marshall Faulk. Then we've got Emmitt Smith on mine. Jesus, this is hard.
Yeah, it is.
It's difficult.
Frank Gore is going to be on mine.
Yeah, for sure.
And then my last one. Do I want to do? Oh, can I do a Tim Riggins?
Tim Riggins. Can't do a fictional one. FNL, baby.
Yeah.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Can't lose.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Marcus Allen?
No, I'm not Marcus Allen. No.
That's a good running back, though. That's interesting.
It is. Part of me wants to put Eric Dickerson on there, but I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Give me a second.
I knew you were going to be the one bringing that up because he's on my top 5. Eric Dickerson.
Yeah, Dad's old.
What did he say? What did Dad say?
The Iggy Woods. Who is that?
Iggy Shuffle.
Iggy Woods, it's a good one though.
It's a good.
Iggy Shuffle.
Don't do it, man.
I'm going to go. I'm gonna put Air. No,
Nah, man. No idea what you're talking about, man.
Danny Tomlinson changed the running back game. So did Marshall Falk. Already had one on it. I'm going to put
It's
Adrian
a tough one.
Peterson. I'm putting
Adrian
Adrian
Peterson.
Yeah.
I was wondering who was going to be the one to put him on there. All right, AJack, what about you?
All right. 5, I got Edgerrin James. 4, I got Eric Dickerson. 3, I got Peyton. 2nd, I got Barry Sanders. 1st, I got the great O.J. Simpson.
Really?
Oh wow!
All right. As far as the running back, yes. No.
No, it's crazy. I never see any highlights of him.
I've seen him.
I've looked at him. No, O.J. Simpson was a beast.
O.J. Simpson was cold.
He was a beast.
Was
cold.
Yeah.
On and off the field.
Yeah, true.
I got him.
He was
number
deadly.
One.
He killed his opponents. Yes, he did. He
Eric James 5, Eric Dickerson 4, Walter Payton 3, Barry Sanders 2. Then got O.J. Simpson 1st.
Heard. All right, I got you. I give you that one on that. As far as just playing football,
yeah, just playing. Bro, he had a 2,000-yard season in 14 games.
I'm saying that in itself is incredible. That's truly incredible. 5 for me is Eric Dickerson.
He really killed it out there.
I'm sorry. I know we probably shouldn't be talking. Oh, God. It's been so long, y'all. All right. Anyway, 5 for me is Eric Dickerson. 4 is Jim Brown, the great Jim Brown.
This nigga be on a straight face. Bro, I was like, out there. No, bro. I'm sorry.
All right.
Oh my God.
All right. Like I said, 5, Eric Dickerson for me. 4, Jim Brown. 3, 3, Emmitt Smith. Honorable mention is going to be Frank Gore. And Edgerrin James is number 2 for me. And number 1, Barry Sanders for me. Edgerrin James is one of the reasons why I became a UM fan, like a true UM fan. Because like the first game I really remember is the 98 game versus UCLA, where he ran for 323 yards against UCLA. And we won that game 45 to 41 to knock off their season. That was the beginning of the 3-year arc that made him into the 2001 team. So he's one of the reasons why I fell in love with football. So that's why he's my favorite. He's one of my favorite running backs. And also too, when it comes, I think he's underrated as a pass catcher. While I think Marshall Falk is also, I think, needs to be mentioned as well. I think he's the one, and him and Roger Craig as well, I think revolutionized being those 2-way running backs. I think Edge being in that Indianapolis offense and being that type of running back that helped Peyton Manning come into
I missed that.
Those offenses, there was really no true way to stop them. You had to kind of outlast them. And I think they changed the way that we play football. And I think that's why you see a lot of running backs that you have now. I think, of course, Marshall Falk has a big way to do with it too, but I think Edge has a much bigger say than that. And I just like Edge better than I like Marshall Falk, even though Marshall Falk is great. James Thomason is great too, but it's just like you have to kind of pick your 5, and that's why. And exactly. I put Jim Brown on my list because Jim Brown is the reason why all these guys are running backs anyway, in my opinion. Like, you ask a lot of them, they're like, yeah, their favorite players growing up, like older, they said was Jim Brown. I think as far also too when it comes to social work and some of the things that athletes are like, the right how they're outspoken today, they have all that to go to Jim Brown, and maybe that's some more political part of it, but also too, he just dominated when he played. He only played 10 seasons and held the rushing record for almost 30 years until Walter Payton broke it. So, which is incredible, I think. So, Jim Brown's going to be on my list. So, Is there anything to add to this running back discussion? Is there a running back who you want to put on the list that we did not talk about, who you think we should talk about? Like, there are any modern running backs y'all think we should talk about? Because I don't think there were any modern running backs on any of our lists. Now I think about it.
Modern? What's modern? Like
playing right now, basically.
I mean, Derrick Henry is going to go down. Derrick Henry is going to go down in history, but
I don't think.
I think he is.
I think especially if he has a really good year here in Baltimore, which I think he will.
Don't get me wrong, he's a Hall of Famer, but I don't know. He won't be on my list for the greatest running back.
Pop said Gale Sayers.
Gale Sayers is good.
Gale Sayers is amazing. So what? He scored 6 touchdowns in the game. First player to do that.
Yeah.
Running backs or even just guys to play, but it's fullbacks.
He can blow out his knee.
Coming in the game too.
He's definitely somebody that was in the wrong era. What about Tony Dorsett? Nobody said his name.
Oh my goodness. What do you think? Well, I think Dad could tell us a little bit more about Tony Dorsett, being as he was a Cowboys fan back then. So
he don't claim it no more. He don't claim the Cowboys no more.
Well, he was a Cowboys fan when Tony Dorsett was playing. So
he was?
Yes.
You know better than me.
Curtis Martin.
No, because Curtis Martin was both a Jet and a Patriot. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
Curtis
I
Martin
forgot
was
about the Patriots, but he was a good running back.
He was a Dolphins killer, man. Curtis Martin, I used to hate. That does speak to how good he was. I used to hate him, but if you guess you bring in something like that, you bring in somebody like Eddie George as well. And then Jerome Bettis is one person you could talk about too.
Jerome Bettis, you could talk about the bus. He's got some good numbers.
Mike Allstott, and you can talk about fullbacks.
I got that was talking about football. I got Steven Jackson and Chris Johnson Jr. Chris Johnson.
CJ2K. That's like, but I think, okay, let me ask y'all this: why y'all think that the modern run, because none of them are in our list? Like, what do you think? Do you think the modern running back has been devalued as it has been?
Of course, that's the reason why it's devalued. There's no value in it. I think the last time there was high value for a running back, and unfortunately he was robbed of his career, was Todd Gurley.
Yeah, Todd Gurley.
I think he was on his way to. I think could be in that conversation, but man, he was good.
If he had to play 2 more years at the level that he was playing at, he would have been a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he was that good.
He was that good.
The first 4 years, he was that good.
He was that guy. Like, he was that nigga.
But he had like 3 All-Pros. So he had like 3 All-Pros, 3 Pro Bowls.
Yeah, like those. I think every year, but his that 5-year period, every year, but his rookie year, I think he was All Pro. He's Pro Bowl all those years. And Nick used to get him in fantasy and kill us with him.
I had him every year.
Mm-hmm.
I had to have him. I paid for him.
He just scored in every different way, and like the Rams' offense was built around him.
Yards, touchdowns,
everything that was valued back then. Like you said, yards, touchdowns, like catches. He got 5 catches a game usually. One of them was usually a touchdown the way that was. So
another good modern running back that was of lately, Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah,
I think because he's such like an overachiever. He's such
beast mode.
And then oh my God, what is his first name? I know his last name. From the Chiefs, James. He got robbed because he tore his ACL too. What? He played at Texas in college. He played with the Chiefs in the NFL. Then he went to the Broncos after he tore his knee.
You said his last name was James?
What is Jamal Charles? Yeah, it is. Sorry, Jamal Charles.
He still holds the record for most yards per rush.
Yep.
Still holds the record for yards per rush. Okay.
I'll say Earl Campbell.
Earl Campbell.
I told y'all I almost said Earl Campbell. That boy was.
Earl Campbell was a beast, man. And when y'all know I lived in Tyler, like they love Earl Campbell here. This Tyler Rose. Like this Earl Campbell stuff all over the place. Is he from
Tyler, Texas?
He's from Tyler. Mm-hmm. From Tyler Rose. There's like Earl Campbell stuff all over the place. Everything. I feel like that's the only black person they ever like really celebrated in their lives over there. But hey, it is what it is.
The only black person that ever celebrated their lives in Tyler, Texas.
In Tyler, like it's like there's some things going on there, but that's nothing. Jay, anything to add on the running back conversation?
No. I did want to give honorable mention to Ricky Williams. I know he had a storied career, but he could.
Interesting career, at least, right?
A lot of highs, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. Like,
You think you think he really caught that pass?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You mean immaculate reception? You talking about Franco Harris?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about right now.
I think he caught the pass, but I think they said by the rules that that wasn't allowed to happen in that time though. Like if they said if it was touched by an offensive player like back then, it became a dead ball. So they think like it was touched by the receiver first and then came back to him. So it should not have
They
counted.
weren't allowed to catch tip balls.
Back then the rules were different. Like it was like I think if like the offensive player touched it first, it was something like that, became a dead ball. Something like that. Some obscure rule. I remember when I looked into it and watched like a documentary on it, that's what they said. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It was never called, and it's one of the greatest plays in NFL history.
Sound like that was more like a deflection.
It's that don't even sound valid. But it is
A lot of things like
Fumble Rooski.
all right, well, we move on from the running back conversation to one that's even more compelling, I think. Best wide receiver ever. All right. AJack, we'll start off with you. Your favorite wide receiver and your top 5 receivers.
favorite wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
As a Jet, Chris Chambers really Chris was really my guy. Chris Chambers was really my guy when I was a Jet. But seriously, I can only come up with like I don't know. I can really only come up with like 3 for real.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my 3. Probably like from back. I got Calvin Johnson last on my list. I got Randy Moss, and then I got Jerry Rice. Obviously, couldn't really I couldn't really think of like 2 other guys.
Your favorite or the GOATs?
No, just GOATs in my opinion. Like,
okay.
Honestly,
okay. It is what it is.
I feel it. I think I always thought Calvin Johnson was like a better version of Andre Johnson. So like that's
true now.
So it's like that's kind of like I don't.
That's true.
No, he's not wrong. Calvin Johnson too. Yeah, it's just a beast.
Calvin Johnson and Andre Johnson's ridiculous, but like Calvin Johnson's like on another level to me,
Mm-hmm.
But that's I can't really think of like 2 other guys can think of like being like
in their conversation with those 3. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, being like that same part. Because I think it was with running backs. Dad kept naming off names, and I was like, all those names are valid. That's probably that's probably why it's so deep value because there's like a lot of guys who can do what these guys can do. Like, what I'm saying? That's why I don't draft running backs in the first round anymore because like there's a lot of guys who can do that. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta find one. Wide receivers is like it's like a little bit. It's starting to come that way. It's starting to like come that way a little bit with wide receivers, but it's still kind of like still rare to have like an elite one. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't really find guys.
I just think that everybody throws the ball more.
I think honestly, like you definitely see certain teams and like when they try to throw in like and wide receivers can't get separation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't really believe that, but I do think teams are starting to go in that direction a little bit, like not trying to pay wide receivers. And like the reality is, you need a lead wide receiver in these playoffs. So those are the only 3 guys I can like really really put on that pedestal. Honestly, in my opinion.
Interesting. All right, Jay, let's go off with you. We'll discuss that in a little bit.
First I'm going with my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
My favorites are Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson? Yeah, I think it's Deshaun Jackson.
From the Eagles?
No, it's from the Eagles.
Okay.
Then I'm going Tyreek Hill, Chris Chambers, Randy Moss, Marvin Harrison. Those are my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's my GOATs in order. I'm gonna go Marvin Harrison.
When you say order, is he 5 or is he 1?
5.
5. Okay.
He's 5. Julio Jones. This is difficult. Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, Jerry Rice.
Okay. Nick, what about you?
I got Jerry Rice, number one. Jerry Rice was my favorite player of all time when he was like 42, and I first started watching football. He has records that will never, ever be broken, ever. Like the receiving yards,
even in this inflated league and everything, more games
That's
stuff,
insane.
he has stuff that's going to touch it.
Nobody will ever touch that. I've got Jerry Rice. Then you've got, I don't know how nobody said this. You got Randy Moss, Terrell Owens.
I said Randy
Marvin
Moss.
Henderson. Nobody said T.O.
No, I didn't.
No, yeah, I was surprised. T.O.'s on my list.
I don't know how nobody said Terrell Owens. And the last spot, there's so many receivers I want to put. I mean, I could say modern day receivers. I kind of just want to. Antonio Brown.
There you go. He's on my list too. Antonio Brown's on my list.
I figured me and you would have very similar lists.
Yeah. So for me, 5 is Antonio Brown, 4 is Calvin Johnson, 3 is T.O., 2 is Randy Moss, and 1 is Jerry Rice. And so I mean, Larry Fitzgerald's an honorable mention on my list because I think he's the only person I think when it came to his numbers to come close to that. But I think like the other 5 I think was just like it's the way they changed the game for me. I think that's what puts them ahead of Larry Fitzgerald, if that's possible. But yeah, for me, I'm like T.O. and Jerry Rice is like they were like the best players I've ever seen. Like types like and Randy Moss, of course. Like those the best football players I've ever seen. Like Jerry Rice is my favorite all-time player as well. And so that was like surprising to me. So like you don't think Terrell Owens is on that level, AJack? No. Goats like with Calvin Johnson or not? Why not?
It's never felt it.
It's never felt. Well, I mean, you're younger than us, so maybe that is. But
never felt it.
I'm gonna say
with Calvin, like I just have like these vivid memories in my head of him getting double teamed at the goal line. Randy Moss, it was just like you got mossed, and then with Jerry, just like you have 216 touchdowns and got the most touchdowns in NFL history. So I never felt it with him. It's never felt
1,078 receptions, 15,934 yards, and 153 touchdowns. Those are Terrell Owens.
My most memorable memory shouldn't be you doing.
He just caught touchdown.
Well, I mean, for me, like Terrell, the biggest thing for it says to me is how he came back after 6 weeks after a broken leg and played in the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
And then just
dominated.
Well, because like that's one of the reasons why Donovan, like even though I think Donovan Knight was a great and underrated quarterback, the way he played on that final drive is like for me. I remember watching that game, sitting there like y'all could win this. He had no urgency.
Yeah, Donovan McNabb was not pushing it the way he should have.
He was not pushing it like that. You know, it was like similar. That last series, like Pittsburgh had against Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers won, and they had the ball, and they were down 6. Like those both those games had the same energy. There was no push. Like no, hey, let's get down the field. We can do this. Like no, we're gonna win this on a final play. Like it's just for me, it's like that's wild. Like this is the biggest game of your life. You never know when you're gonna get back there. How do you play like that? Like Terrell Owens played like he was never gonna go back there. And unfortunately, he didn't do that.
That's also something that I always appreciated about Terrell Owens. Like, say what you want, he was a big distraction, blah, blah, blah. You know he was going to bring passion to whatever he was doing, though. Mm. He's going to be passionate about it. He was going to, he's going to give it his all, whatever. Even him crying for Tony Romo, talk about that's his quarterback. I mean, the guy is.
I don't know. Just me personally, I have more memories of him off the field than on it.
Yeah, well.
It's like my core memories of Terrell Owens is this: him doing sit-ups in the parking lot, him saying that's my quarterback, his girlfriend crying about how he should be alive after his suicide attempt, and then the football is he broke his leg. These guys can't stop me. I can't remember really anything else. Honestly, that's not like a core memory of mine. Everything else, I know T.O. was great. Oh yeah, and to his credit, it was a 49ers thing where he caught the ball where he got his butt bust in the end zone and he still caught it. Like I remember that. But everything else is off the field with him. You know what I'm saying? That's my quarterback. Like, come on, man. Crying over a white man is crazy, bro. So it's just like, to me, off the field with him. I don't really have like no core. I only have like 2 core on-field memories of T.O. Like with Calvin Johnson, even Randy Moss, bro. Like I have so many on-field memories of him. Even in Minnesota, I have memories of Randy Moss. He had 3 catches. He had 3 catches, 3 touchdowns against Cowboys.
That Dallas game.
Yeah, it's like
I remember that game vividly.
He would come off the line, just raise his hand because he already knew he was open. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's just me, bro. Like, I could be wrong about that, but that's just how I feel about that.
I mean, that's the whole point of it being your opinion. I understand where you're coming from. So, I can't get mad at you about that. But that's what it is. Anything to add about the wide receiver debate, gentlemen?
I do think I do think Justin Jefferson is eventually going to be in this debate.
I do. I agree with that. I think Jamar Chase is on his way too. I mean, of course, Tyreek Hill as well. I think, but I think Tyreek Hill is less. Of course, Tyreek Hill has less time than Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase to make that argument, and so there's that as well. But yeah. Now,
did you have Antonio Brown on your list too?
Yes, I did because of his consistency during 2010s. I think though. He was just like he hit like 1,500 yards, 100 catches. The man was a walking first down, walking touchdown for a good 6-year period. And the thing is, that concussion that he had against Cincinnati, I guess, changed him for the worse. Even he still had another 3 or 4 years of good production after that. Yeah. And then he ended up winning a championship. He got a ring with Tampa Bay. I know it didn't go the way it goes, and I know that he's kind of I have a lot more memories now, I guess, lately of him being off the field and some of the outrageous stuff he says. But, it's just his play. Those last 5 years of the 2010s decades, that's what puts him on my list. We didn't see anything like that. It was it was
insane.
It was insane, man. It's insane. But one thing I do think, who's sneakily, I guess, would be on some people's list, I think we have to talk about Mike Evans and how he started his career. Like literally every season, 1,000 yards, it hasn't been done. Something that the one record I thought that would never be broken, that has been tied now by Mike Evans, the most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons to start a career. Mike Evans has done that, so I have to give a shout out to him about that. But he's done it such, I think, in a quieter way that he's like it takes away from his shine. But he's an incredibly consistent wide receiver, so I think I got to give that to him on that one. All right, so let's move on. All right, so the best tight end. I want to hear some of y'all reactions to this one. You don't have to do a top 5 this way. Who y'all thinking is in the GOAT conversations for tight ends? So give me your favorite tight end of all time, and then give me your top list. I'll start off with you, Jay.
I mean, this is my favorite and my GOAT. Savannah State alum, Shannon Sharp.
Oh.
Yeah. What? There's no.
That's a good one. No, it's like ooh
for everybody.
He revolutionized the tight end position, in my opinion.
He really did. Who else is on your list for you?
Oh no, there's no other list.
That's it. There's no other list for that's it. Shannon
Sharp. Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp.
All right. Nick, what about you?
I'll have Tony Gonzalez on there.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon Sharp is on there. I've got a homer pick in Dallas Clark.
I knew it. And, Dallas Clark used to kill us, man. He used to kill us.
Got Dallas Clark.
He was really
also
good.
have. You had to have Winslow in there.
Mm-hmm.
They have an entire route named after him. He killed people with that. And then I kind of want to put current tight ends, but current tight ends don't really block. They barely block anymore, which I mean it is. Part of me wants.
I don't know. I feel like Kittle blocks. Like
he's the only one.
Yeah, I feel like Kittle blocks. I don't think Kelsey blocks that much. Kittle is down there. I mean, AJack, do you have anybody to add on this list, or are you out this round? I think he's out this round.
No, I'm here.
All right. Who you got for your list on tight ends before I add to it?
I had Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, Shannon Sharp, Kellen Winslow, Rob Gronkowski.
Yep. All right. For me, my favorite tight end of all time is Shannon Sharp. Tony Gonzalez is second. Kellen Winslow's third. Gronkowski's on my list too. But Jimmy Graham's gonna be 5 for me.
I knew you were gonna have him on there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have him on there. Right? Look, Gronkowski was better, I think, but Jimmy Graham was like high consistent for a few years. There was what Getcher did touchdowns from Drew Brees, and I think he was making a lot of good plays. And Antonio Gates is on my list too. I think Antonio Gates, I think, also revolutionized the whole basketball player to football player thing, as well. Him and Tony Gonzalez laid the pathway for that. I feel.
Look, you want to talk about that one too, because I be seeing like people trying to well, Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez, they play like, bro, because I looked at their stats, it was like 3.8 points per game.
No, they weren't really. They weren't really
good at basketball.
They weren't great basketball players. Like people used to talk about how Julius Peppers was that too. Julius Peppers was on a Final Four team, but he was just
he was actually good. Julius Peppers was actually good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like that's one thing, but no, it's like, but like you see the way the guys play, like it revolutionized the way it is now. He's gone for the way these tight ends are now. Like you got the Mark Andrews, George Kittles, and Travis Kelce's and Hawkinson and everything, like doing those Winslow routes. That's why Kellen Winslow's on my list. Like, getting to the end zone, and these guys are weapons now. But as the game evolves, that position always evolves with it. So anything to add on that one? Get to the defensive side. We're gonna start off with
actually not on that comment. I'm out ugly.
I do want to hear what this is for y'all. So top 5 defensive ends. So I'm going to combine the corners and the safeties into this one. So I want y'all top 5 defensive backs. Nick, I want to start off with you. If you have a separate list, you can do that too if you want. But I think I wanted to put them all together on that.
You're just going to combine. So we're doing safeties and
corners. So defensive backs.
You got Sean Taylor.
That's on the other. All right, look at you.
Yeah, Sean Taylor. I mean, we're talking about safeties. Cam Chancellor.
All right.
Then you've got Darrelle Revis. You've got I can't forget I'm forgetting his name, but he was on the same team as Cam Chancellor.
You talking about Richard Sherman? Or
yeah, Richard
Earl Thomas. Richard Sherman.
Yeah, I'm talking about Richard Sherman. Who's another lockdown corner? No, I can't do him because he's shitty at the end of his career.
I'll bleed it for 1 second.
Part of me wants to say Champ Bailey, but that's not true.
He was a great corner though. I think you're forgetting somebody. Woodson, Charles Woodson. Is that on your list?
Oh, Charles Woodson. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, Charles Woodson's on my list.
I figured him out.
And a homer pick for me was Bob Sanders, one of my favorite.
Bob Sanders was a great player
all time. If the injury,
he didn't get injured. Yeah.
He get hurt every season.
Yeah, I don't think he played. I think the only time he ever played a full season, he won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
So,
yep. And when he finally came back, we won the Super Bowl. When he finally played throughout the playoffs, we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. AJack, what's your list?
I got my 5th guy. I got Champ Bailey 5.
We need to separate these two because I could pick out more safeties. I'm sorry.
I got Champ Bailey 5. I got Ronnie Lott 4. I got Charles Woodson 3. I got Ed Reed 2. And I got Deion Sanders 1.
That's exactly. Yeah, we need to separate them. There's enough corners and safeties that I can name off. Because I forgot about Ed Reed. Oh,
I was wondering if you're gonna say that. All right, okay, we can separate it out. All right, does that change your list, Austin? Because that's safeties. Do you have a number 1 safety? If you so your corners list, you need to add. Ed Reed will be your number 1 safety. Deion Sanders number 1 corner, so you got to add your corners.
Charles Woodson and Ronnie Lott kind of like a hybrid because they were corners at first.
They were corners and safeties, yes. That's one of the reasons why I combine
them
this.
too.
That's one of the reasons why I combine it, because positions in my mind, because I feel like a lot of the best ones play the combination of both positions. But I understand where you're coming
I think
from.
Brian Dawkins better than Palomalo. I'll put Brian Dawkins first, probably, for Troy Palomalo.
I like Dawkins more than Palomalo as well, but Ed Reed's my favorite.
I don't know.
That's a
That's
tough,
good,
but
though.
that's why you have
That's
these
good.
conversations, though.
That's good.
And so that's why you have these conversations. Dawkins versus Palomalo, I think, is a very interesting conversation.
Dawkins would lay that. Boom.
Yeah, but there's something to say though about Palomalo's play recognition and the way I think his blitzing, I think, was one of the most well-timed blitzes that you'll ever see from a safety.
I had this debate with a homie of mine because he's like a natural contrarian where like that he was trying to argue Troy Polamalu over Ed Reed. I was just like, no, but he was like, but he has more of this, he has more of that. I was just like, look, like yeah, you could say Troy was like the better box safety, whatever like that, but like, because I think he was trying to bring up forced fumbles and all that stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, Ed Reed still has a lot of forced fumbles. Ed Reed still has almost as many tackles. Yeah. Ed Reed has almost as many sacks, but Ed Reed had like twice as many interceptions. So it's kind of like you're trying to argue he was a better this type, which may be true, but Ed Reed was still good at that type of safety play. So
overall, Ed Reed was a much better safety. I think Ed Reed's one of the best safeties ever touched the field.
And I remember that Super Bowl. This kind of like the problem with like how you call it, like instinctual safeties, whatever like that. I remember what's that wide receiver from Arizona?
Larry Fitzgerald. We talked about
Larry Fitzgerald. I remember he took that slant, bro. I did not know how slow Troy Polamalu was, man. Like it's like he had no chance to run him down, no chance, and like.
That was the angle. Troy Polamalu was known to fly across the field, though.
I know he took great angles, but like that's the thing with Troy Polamalu. If he guessed wrong that one time, he was cooked because he didn't have the physical attributes to make up for it. You know what I'm saying?
That's also one thing you think about when you think about that Demaryius Thomas play with Tim Tebow and the Broncos. Troy Polamalu was on the field for that one too, playing safety. And like, he wasn't in the picture.
Actually, it's a great question. Have you ever seen Troy Polamalu hawk someone down?
No, it's like you don't.
Have you? I think that's an interesting
point to talk about.
Have you ever seen him play safety on the field for real? So hawk someone down.
But no, like in the box, yes. I think you have to talk about. But Jay, we hadn't talked about you. Where's your list?
Can I do corner first, then safety?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dion number 1. Revis number 2. Shannon Bailey number 3. Ronnie Lott number 4. I guess I don't want to put him in there yet. That's just tough. Patrick Peterson number 5.
Okay. What about your safeties?
Safeties number 1 always will be number 1 is Ed Reed. Just even for me, number 2 will be Brian Dawkins. For me, I understand it's controversial, but for me, Brian Dawkins. I didn't like his game, but Polamalu, he's very respected. Troy Polamalu. Man, I wish I could put Sean in there, but I can't. You see his game play a lot. Intro role number 4.
That's a good one.
That's so.
Number 5. I have to go. I know I'm missing somebody though. Man. I'm not gonna add a Patriot.
No, Arnie Harrison or nothing like that.
Charles Woodson.
All right. Nick, did you want to add anybody to your corners? Anything? You said you forgot a lot of safeties.
So Charles Woodson, Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman. Then I'm putting in why am I forgetting his name? Florida State, played with the Jaguars.
You mean Jalen Ramsey?
I'm putting Jalen Ramsey in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going Champ Bailey. Safeties, I'm going Ronnie Lott. I'm going Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, Bob Sanders, and then I'm going I'll go. Who do I want to put in there? Oh, Troy Polamalu. I like Troy Polamalu. Or yeah, Troy Polamalu.
All right.
More.
All right, for me, safeties 5 Dawkins, 4 Polamalu, 3 Sean Taylor pretty personally because I think he's like literally like video game made flesh type prototype safety with him. I think it's just everything that you want to do from a football player. I think that's what Sean Taylor is. It's just really, really sad that he wasn't able to complete his career. And I think for a lot of people. 2 Charles Woodson and 1 Ed Reed. I think Ed Reed's the best defensive back of all time. I'm gonna die on that hill and everything like that with that one. I just think the way he saw the game, I think he was the person that everyone I think the most cerebral quarterback that ever played the game, I think without doubt is Peyton Manning. I think Ed Reed made Peyton Manning look like a fool a couple of times. And I think that's really hard to do. I think also said, even though we are very first off, fuck off Tom Brady, but the respect that Belichick and Brady have for him as well as an opponent, I think is understated. They didn't have find Polamalu on their game plan. They had find Ed Reed on their game plan every time they played.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you can say maybe Troy Polamalu was a better in the box, like linebacker type hybrid safety, but in the grand scheme of things, I think Ed Reed could do everything that Troy Polamalu do, but Troy Polamalu couldn't do everything Ed Reed could, in my opinion.
That's facts.
Comes to the range. So I do now. There's some great plays I think Troy Polamalu has made. Like you see some of those blitzes and the way they time and that interception that off the one hand interception off the ground that pick six against the Ravens in the playoffs too. But I think also when you go that, you think about the 109-yard pick six for Ed Reed, and think about the time when he came around as a sacked and forced the fumble, picked it up, scooped it, and went for 25 yards on a sack and fumble. That's just he made plays like that all the time. That's just who he was. So for corners, Charles Woodson is on my corners list as well. I think he's number 5. 4 Patrick Peterson, 3 Richard Sherman, 2 Darrell Revis, and 1 is Prime. And Prime's also one of my. I don't think anyone will ever be like Deion Sanders ever again. We're never gonna see anybody like that. So, is there anybody to add to those conversations, gentlemen?
Not for me.
All right. No, I don't think so either. All right, best linebacker.
That's
all. Like I said, all these are tough. That's why I wanted to have these conversations. So, AJack, you want to start off? Your favorite linebacker and your top 5?
My favorite linebacker, Patrick Willis, probably my favorite linebacker of all time.
Yes, I was hoping he's going to be on somebody's list. Patrick Willis is one of my favorite linebackers too. I'm not mad at him for not playing this entire time, but yeah, he was a beast. So, all right, who else?
Willis, obviously Ray Lewis or whatever like that. Who's that linebacker for the 49ers right now?
Sorry?
Warner.
Fred Warner. I ain't gonna lie, he could. I think he's
that boy
nice.
Yeah,
he's already
Warner
on the list
is
for me.
good. Yeah.
Luke Kuechly, he's on the list for me.
Yeah, he's on my list too.
I
Captain
get
America.
It. I mean, I my understand my organization of linebackers doesn't really go that far. Yeah, unlike DBs and wide receivers doesn't really go that far. But Luke Kuechly.
Offense, defense. I guess the defense was not really the name of the game.
Who's that linebacker? Who's the linebacker who played for Seattle?
Bobby Wagner. You talking about?
He's on that list for me as well. So yeah, those are. I got Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis obviously first, then Patrick Willis. No. Ray Lewis, Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis, Fred Warner, and then
and Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, and Bobby Wagner. That's for me. That's the list for me.
All right, Jay, what's your list?
Zach Thomas.
I knew.
Ray Lewis. Urlacher. Vilma. And there was one more. White boy played for Green Bay.
AJ Hawk?
What? Not that. Not you.
Or you talk about the other one?
Are you talking about Clay Matthews? Is that what you talking
I
about?
think I'm talking Clay Matthews, yeah.
Wasn't he?
Clay Matthews?
Mhm.
Yeah, he was one. I was wondering if there's going to be one of them hybrid like pass rushing linebackers on the list. All right, Nick, what about you?
Ray Lewis,
Mhm.
James Harrison, Lawrence Taylor.
Mm.
Technically, he's a
Play
linebacker.
linebacker. Mhm.
Technically, he's a linebacker. Then we've got, who did I say? I said Ray Lewis,
You said Ray
James
Lewis,
Harrison,
James
Lawrence
Harrison.
Taylor. Then we've got Derek Brooks and Luke Kuechly is up there for me.
Mhm. All right, so like Zach Thomas is on my list.
Patrick Willis was crazy good, but
Yeah, Zach Thomas, Patrick Willis, Luke Kuechly. Ray Lewis is my favorite linebacker all the time. The U thing for me, I just think that he was just a monster. And who am I missing? I used to like watch a lot of the old Bears. So I like Mike Singletary. I really liked Mike Singletary, so he was one of my favorites too.
Mike Singletary with the eyes.
With the Bears. Yeah, he'll die. Can't win with him. Can't play with him. Can't do it.
I like this kind of party.
That was one of my favorites on that one. So, all right.
Got the best quotes.
Mm-hmm. So, who is your best pass rushers then? Because that's why Lawrence Taylor wasn't on my list, because I had the best pass rushers. Whoever like to go first on this one, because this one's a tough one too.
I'm good.
Go ahead.
Strahan.
Say what?
Strahan.
You said Trey Ham. I'm sorry?
Strahan. Michael Strahan.
Strahan. Oh, Strahan. I was like, what? Strahan.
Reggie White. Jason Taylor.
You say Reggie White?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason Taylor. Julius Peppers. And then LT. Fifth one was LT, yeah. So
Yeah, you already said Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor, yeah.
Hey, Jack.
I got Lawrence Taylor, obviously number one. Kind of put JJ Watt in there.
Okay.
Obviously the Minister of Defense.
Reggie White.
I want to put Aaron Donald in there, but
I was about to say we're gonna leave Aaron Donald out.
I guess I'll leave him for the best D lineman, but him, I put him in there anyway. I'm not really well versed in the pass rusher thing. I didn't grow up watching pass rushing highlights as a jit, so I'm not really like as everybody else. But like, but yeah, that's probably it for me in terms of that. I can't really think of anybody.
What about you, Nick?
Actually, no, my fault. That dude from Dallas. What's his name?
Who, DeMarcus Ware?
DeMarcus Ware. There we go.
Marcus Ware was good.
What about you, Nick?
We've got Lawrence Taylor. We've got Dwight. Are we doing defense line or just pass?
I don't feel like he is.
This is pass rusher.
Dwight Freeney. I'm going Dwight Freeney. I'm going Robert Mathis too.
Yeah, I figured both of them would be on your list.
Yeah. The Minister of Defense.
Reggie White.
And then I need one more. I kind of want to do. Who's another really great D end? I'm going. I don't know. I was going to say Justin Houston, but no. I'm trying to think of pass rushers.
I'm gonna have Von Miller.
Von Miller.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Von Miller in mine.
That's a good one. Oh, Chandler Jones.
Chandler Jones.
Or
Okay.
not Chandler Jones. What's the crazy boy from the 49ers?
Which one?
Alden Smith.
Alden Smith.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh.
he. As far as pass rushing is pure talent, yeah.
No,
I was
This,
saying,
this pure
yeah,
talent, not career, just talent.
yeah, talent, yeah,
Going
straight
awesome.
up. I'll give you that. All right. For me, Reggie White on the list, of course, Lawrence Taylor, Bruce Smith on the list for me from the Bills. I'm not sure y'all they maybe a bit young to know that. I mean, but Jason Taylor is also on my list too. So because Jason Taylor, I think, was just insane what he used to do, how he used to rush the passer. Okay, I said Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Jason Taylor, Lawrence Taylor.
Actually, no, I have one.
Who's that?
Cameron Wake.
I knew you were gonna. I was wondering if you were gonna say that because
his greatness. That boy had 105 sacks, man.
He did.
Not
No,
gonna
he did.
erase his greatness.
So Cameron Lake's actually, and I have to give it to Dwight Freeney. Dwight Freeney, I think, was a beast.
He was one of them.
Mm-hmm. Robert Mathis was good too. That's another honorable mention. Of course, J.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, I think are great honorable mentions when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But that for Aaron Donald's on my best D lineman list. So
he's on my D line.
Mm-hmm. So let's go to the last one that we're gonna have for today, y'all. We're not gonna do special teams or anything like that because best kick return of all time is Devin Hester. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Prime second.
Well, no, it's just
And prime second on that. All right. Best D lineman. We're not gonna do a kicker list. No, I'm not gonna do that. Best D lineman. So break it down. Let's start off with you, Nick.
I'm going Aaron Donald, Derek Thomas, Vince
That's what I
Wilfork.
had to my pass rush list.
Vince Wilfork. I'm going. Who else am I going? I'm going.
Warren Sapp.
Mm.
Yes, thank you. I actually did want to put that Warren Sapp.
What's
All
that on the
right.
list?
And
You
then I'm trying not to do another pass rusher. Well, I guess they're all pass rushers.
Yeah.
Cameron. I got two more, right? No, I've got one
Yeah.
more. No, I don't, because I said.
Oh, yeah, I won. Were you about to talk about Cameron from the Saints?
Yeah.
I like him. I
I
like
think by the
his
end
game.
of his career, I'm gonna put Cameron Jordan in there by the end of his career.
Yeah, Cameron Jordan. Like, I don't think like the way his combination of being a rusher and a guy who plays a run like that. I think it's a rare combination. I think he plays it all at a high level. I think that's the reason why the Saints defense has turned around in the last five or 6 years. He's the main reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it was not a liability. I mean, the Saints got rounded championship. I felt like during all that time, but that's another conversation.
They
But,
definitely.
AJack, you have anybody to add on your list there?
I got Aaron Donald. I got Joe Green. Ndamukong Suh. Obviously Warren Sapp. I know I'm missing another one. The D tackle. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I can't remember nobody else. Oh yeah, Vince Wilfork. But yeah, they already said Vince Wilfork. So.
Hey, can you go over your list again for me? I'm sorry, my internet was unstable.
I got Aaron Donald, Joe Green, Ndamukong Suh, Warren Sapp, and Vince Wilfork.
Right. Oh, I also want to add, as I mentioned, pass rusher, Deacon Jones. I want to add on that real old school on that. And then, all right, go into and also add Too Tall Jones. I want to go on that. Hey Jay, so it's your turn.
So I'll have to go with Aaron Donald first. Mean Joe Green, Warren Sapp. I feel like Ndamukong Suh was overrated. I want like Vince Wilfork. There was this guy on the Ravens. I forget his name. It was Ott or something like that.
Terrell
No,
Suggs.
No.
you talking about Odi Nata? You talking about him?
Yeah, nah, yeah.
Mhm.
Those,
I like that. I do. All right, for me, Aaron Donald number one. JJ Watt's on my best D lineman list. Tim Bowens, old defense tackle from the Dolphins, was really, really good. I felt he's on my list. Warren Sapp, of course. That's really number two for me. I think he was just incredible when it came down to it. And I'm missing somebody. Really not. It was damn it, I can't. Who was it? All right, well, all right, I lost it. Whoever it was, I was thinking about. But yeah, that's my best thing on doing this. Okay, all right. So, is there anything to add to these conversations, gentlemen?
Not really.
Hey, I thought that was actually really good. We got to have some really good football talk about things. I really thank you guys for joining me on this and indulging me on these conversations, bringing up some interesting points. Talk about also seeing it from different kind of timelines as well has also been really interesting. So thank y'all for that. Oh, and I also put Strahan on my best D line list and Cameron Jordan on that one. So anything else to add, gentlemen?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Jay, you good?
yeah, sorry about that.
All right, you're good, bro. All right. All right. So the next time what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about the GOAT college team. Basically, we're going to be talking about the 01 Hurricanes versus everybody else. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to try to have a few more people on the list so we can get some few opinions, but really, let's be honest, it's going to be a hard sell. Because basically the way we're going to do it, y'all going to have to convince me that the 01 Canes team is not the best college team of all time. That's what's basically going to have to happen when we talk
Like,
next time we all get together. So that's going to be a really hard sell. And then we're also going to be doing a college football preview as a part of that conversation, because hopefully the first 30 minutes we'll talk about the Go College team, and then we'll talk about the season preview, talking about ACC, SEC, Pac-12, the new playoff system, and our predictions for the season. So hopefully we will see y'all then. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Once again, I am Music Nerd for Nick,
Oh,
AJack,
Yo.
and my normal co-host Jay. Thank y'all so much.
College football next it's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Less than 3 weeks away, boy. We're getting on that time. It's about to be the best time of the year. All right, so hopefully the USA can handle it with the Olympics when it comes to the men's basketball, women's basketball, and women's soccer. All of them won today, so heading into all semifinal play, and then of course the women are already into the gold medal game. So for soccer, so hopefully we'll be giving y'all some good news on that. So, all right, next time we will see y'all. Love y'all. Off on 9th. We're out.
Yeesh.
All right.